Hey, what's going on, everybody? Prince L here with More Simple Light Trust Corp. Just wanted to come and just talk to you for a brief minute before I head off to the pool. We had Hurricane Irma a couple days ago. Lots went down over the weekend. Fortunately, everybody is safe. The city of Miami is doing all right, or the people within the territory are doing good. So along with all that, there was also the Equifax breach that happened last week too. So that's really what I wanted to talk to you about today, was because amongst all this chaos with property damage and these soon to be deductible expenses for the upcoming 2017 tax year, which we'll also be providing services for. I just wanted to help you understand what course of action any consumer should consider taking in regards to the breach that occurred last week. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the breach, Equifax was hacked. Their website was hacked. Nobody likes to, think that they can be hacked. It sucks even more so when your bank gets hacked, right? But like more so, even more detrimental to your credit and your consumer information is when the credit reporting agency themselves get hacked. So Equifax was hacked, and the information was brought to light on last week Friday through a Twitter post. Of all things, it's amazing what social media does today, right? Everybody's on Twitter. President's on Twitter. Equifax is on Twitter. MTOL Trust Corp needs to be on Twitter too, don't you think? Yeah, stay tuned for that in the future. But let's talk about some of the responsibilities that the Equifax is supposed to have as a credit reporting agency. Now, for those who are not familiar with what a credit reporting agency is, or when they all came into play, during the late 1800s, a lot of creditors, or a lot of individuals with a lot of finance, were creating lists in which they would let other potential creditors know people who potentially were a risk for lending money to. All right, so all that of which was occurring before the 1933 gold and silver recession, when currency actually had value behind it, instead of just presumed credit that would be based on other people's information later on down the line. But we're not here to discuss all that, right? Equifax themselves was one of the first credit reporting agencies, and they were established in 1899, if memory serves me correctly, as the retail credit company. Now, the whole job behind any credit repair or credit reporting agency is to secure your information from potential harmful creditors or other individuals who might use your information for their own benefit, not for yours, okay? In which case that information can be damaging to your future, your financial future, and overall. So the information that is contained on your credit report, or that was contained within the reports from these early credit reporting agencies, it included your name, your date of birth, your social security number, your addresses, any place that you had previously been, any type of criminal activity, if you would be a very high risk for lending credit to. So they created this system, and all the way up until the 70s, this system was virtually wide open as far as who was reporting and what kind of information they were reporting to other organizations. So in the 1970s, the United States Congress came up with an act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, along with the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, and those two acts together would create the basis for consumer rights protection. All right, and all that was regulated by the Federal Trade Commission, which is now enforcing its administrative aspects through the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or agency, whichever way you care to look at it. Now, right now, after this whole breach of information of Equifax's system, you should already presume that your identity was quite possibly affected and stolen. Reason why is because there were over 143 million consumers within the United States of America, corporation, whichever, their information was stolen, and so you're going to have to get in contact with Equifax to find out whether or not your information was amongst that information that was stolen, okay? In which case, here's some tips. Let's get to the protective aspects of things, right? Now, it's not just one thing to just do some monitoring of your credit report information. It's more important to freeze your credit information. All right, now what a credit freeze does is it restricts who has access to your credit report information. Okay, because on your credit report you have your tax information, previous judgments against you, child support, even criminal activity, if I didn't already say that. You know, some very damaging information could be placed on your report that would prevent you from gaining employment in the future or for applying for high levels of credit. So by me recommending that you consider the security freeze, I'm saying pay the $10. That's how much the fee costs to each one of the credit bureaus, right? And you have to do it independently with each specific credit bureau because they do not communicate with each other outside of special conditions, okay? Now, once you do your credit freeze, it's best that you do it in writing. Send that document in via certified mail receipt. That way you can get a return receipt, you know, little slide or a postal card, which will let you know that somebody actually did receive your information and that they're working on your case. It doesn't get more verifiable or validated than that, knowing that your information, what you're desiring in order to protect your financial security, is indeed placed into human hands, so that way you can make sure that you're not going to be affected like so many other millions of individuals all across the United States, Canada, and possibly abroad with their information. So all that to say, get your credit freeze on, your security freeze on. Be sure to print out your copy of your personal identification number, your PIN, from each one of the credit reporting agencies, because it's a one-time issuance of the password, and once you get it, they will not give it again to you, okay? That'll make it even difficult for yourself to apply for credit in the future, because every time you apply, you're going to have to lift the credit freeze in order to access your credit, all right? But there are also other ways to build credit or to apply for credit. Stay tuned for lots of those tips and so much more. Thank you very much for your time. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, hit the button. I'm here just to help uplift the fallen humanity in every single way possible. We're going to keep studying, we're going to keep improving our situations, we're going to keep protecting the needs and the desires of not just the people, but the people consuming. Peace and justice.